Hello, all disciples of the sweet divine Tao and casual viewers. This is Master GongSun. Welcome to the very first inaugural episode of my Taoist Destiny Analysis of Celebrity series, where I use traditional Taoist divination methods such as the 八字四处 method, which is the 8 character and 4 pillar method, to analyze someone's personality and to predict what might likely happen in the future. Now, there is a disclaimer that I'll read at the very end, but you can read it yourself if you want. Now, today's first inaugural subject is Canadian pop star Justin Bieber. Now, we already know a little bit of his current life, but who wants to be able to predict the future? I know I do. I mean, the future is not ours to know, but it sure is fun trying to predict it. Now, in this Taoist divination system, all we need to know is their time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth in order to put together a chart. Now, from a very casual search on Google, I managed to find that he was born at 12:56 a.m. on March 1st, 1994 in London, Ontario, Canada. Now, I won't actually show you the actual chart or graph that I used to come up with my predictions because, number one, it might be kind of boring to those of you who don't quite understand 八字 or 8 character technical analysis, and only those who have had some training would understand it anyway, and a lot of it is written in Chinese. So I'll spare you the actual technical parts, because I was looking for clashes, for agreements among the different zodiac animals, the different elements or phases. Instead, I will just give you my interpretation and predictions in every episode. All right, let's begin. So, it turns out that Justin Bieber has a lot of fire, so he is fire predominant. His daymaster, and daymaster is just one of the pillars, is yang fire. So fire itself is already very hot, right? So we have yang energy, which is very masculine, very aggressive, even destructive. So that is a little bit of an imbalance. It's a pretty strong yang fire. Imagine yang fire as being like an out of control forest fire, and a yin fire as like a little tiny flame on a candle. So he's definitely a forest fire. And it kind of makes sense if you think about it, because what has he done in the past 10 years that have made the news? I mean, he is a mega pop star, but he was also known for his relationship with various women like Selena Gomez. And I seem to remember he was caught peeing in a bucket, but I don't know why he was doing that. But anyway, he was up to some shenanigans, right? Youthful indiscretions, which can normally be blamed on young men. I mean, I too was once a young man, and I was not the most smartest guy. I was not the most intelligent person, right? Men don't mature until well into their 30s. So yeah, so he was anyway. He did a lot of things that were very much consistent with his yang fire dominance. And he also has some hidden fire as well, which means there's a lot of fire tendency in him. So I would say that his theme is because he has so much fire, he has a lot of drive and ambition and productivity. And, we see that he's done a lot. He's pretty much conquered the pop music scene, has put out many albums, right? But at the same time, anyone with a young fire personality, and one of my friends is like that too, they need balance, because Taoism is all about balance. So he needs to balance the out of control forest fire that is his personality with a cooling element like water and he also needs discipline too, right? Because if you have an out of control forest fire, what's going to happen? You're going to burn out of control, and you will not stop until you have consumed everything in your path. So that's not good, right? We need discipline, we need control. So his personality is very much like the sun, right? He has uh, daylight, right? It's associated with warmth, with daylight, with shining a light on something. And that's very different from the yin kind of fire, right? So he's a strong yang fire, right? So he's the kind of person who needs to be recognized. He very much needs to have a sense of purpose, which, and I think I remember he even had a whole album, right, called The Purpose. I don't know, actually. I am not a huge Justin Bieber fan, although I do like some of his songs. Like What Do You Mean, for example, but I don't know all of his songs. So for some of you Justin Bieber fans out there, you might know a bit more about this, but I think there was an album or a song called The Purpose, right, which he definitely needed, right? So he is someone who can make things happen. He's the drive behind what he does, and he, as a result, very much can influence his surroundings. And he's also a pretty direct person, because that's what fire is, right? Too much fire is very in your face, right? And he needs to go his own way. He doesn't do well under micromanagement, for example. And he might be an impatient person too. But the problem is, if he has too much fire, he will become impatient. He will take on too much on his plate, and as a result might burn out and begin to withdraw. But then after you withdraw, you might start from scratch again. So, but he definitely has motivation. His chart has enough fire. But his biggest challenge is control. He must learn to control and hone himself. All right. Now, this is just going to be a short video, so I don't have time to go into everything. I made a lot of notes there, so I'm actually just reading out my notes to you guys. And according to his chart, so he has a lot of fire, a lot of wood, but not too much water. So he does need some water. He was born in early spring, right? This is March 1st, so he does have some wood. And wood feeds fire. Wood nourishes fire in the cycle that I talked about. If you go to my YouTube channel, I talk about some basic Taoist principles. So because wood feeds fire, he does have some balance there, but he doesn't have enough water. And water means he needs to be more flexible. He needs to do a bit more self-reflection, some strategizing, and some calculations. And he also needs to have a bit more patience. But essentially, like, it's good that he has wood, right? But he's lacking water, very much so. Now, his career and wealth, I don't think we need to talk about that, because everyone knows about what he's done already. At the same time, I know he's very busy, because that's what strong fire can do to someone. Strong fire is motivation. And he does that, for sure. He's very motivated. But at the same time, busy does not necessarily mean enjoyable or profitable. Busy work is not necessarily a good thing. You want to be busy when you channel your input. When you channel your motivation into output, rather. So it's not about how hard you're working. It's about what is your return on your investment, on your time, for example, right? All right. Now, this I don't know too much. The next we're going to talk about his relationships and marriage. I know he's married to, was it someone named Haley? I believe it was Baldwin, right? One of the nieces of the Baldwin brothers. So according to his chart, his metal is actually not too prominent in the heavenly stems. And I'm talking about if you can look up the 8-character chart, the stems are here, and the stems are more important than the branches. There's a saying that goes one in the stem is worth 3 in the branches, because sorry, I completely messed that up. I mean, the stem is the prevailing thing, right? But they're not as important as the branches. Branches are very important because they're the root, right? When you have branches, they they uh, I mean, when you have the roots, when you have the stems, they root you down. So they're very important. So these are the earthly branches here, right? Anyway, you know what I mean when you're looking at the 8 characters. But the stems are very important because they're the roots. In his case, his metal is hidden in the branches, and it means that he's attracted towards girls that have certain features or characteristics he doesn't naturally have, such as groundedness, or practicality, earthiness, financial management skills, emotional restraint, for example, even just like calm and cool and collected, right? Because he's a strong fire. We've seen him uh, lash out at people, right? We've seen him lash out at paparazzi, right? So he doesn't have that natural, calm, cool, collected demeanor. So that's why he's attracted to someone like Haley, who I think is a bit more grounded and a bit more calm. Let's see what else. We can maybe skip that. I mean, skip the rest of it because some of it isn't really relevant. Because we already know who he's married to. Let's see. In terms of luck, though, I mean, he is 32. So he's entering his current decade called the Gongwu decade. And it's a very important luck pillar. So a luck pillar just means every 10 years you get a chance to start over again. If your luck was poor in the previous 10 years, well, it's a new decade. Guess what? You can start all over again. So actually, it looks very good for him because he has wealth at age 32 to 42. His fire is already very strong. And in his 30s, it means that there's a much more of a money kind of theme, a financial theme. So this is a very productive decade for him in terms of his investments, building his assets, monetizing his music, increasing his income. So it looks very good, but there is a small catch. Because Wu is actually one of the what we call the see, how do I translate this? It is the actually it's one of the earthly branches. So it means that he's already very strong. He's very strong fire. So it means that his chances for making more money would increase, but so does the chance to overwork himself, to maybe burn out and overcommit to things. So he would require more discipline again. He needs more discipline and more control. And in terms of his 40s, it looks quite interesting. He has what we call a wealth star. It's called Xin Wei. And so he has 2 decades in a row that has wealth. So that's quite noticeable. But he has to be more careful because in his 30s, it looks more competitive for him. But in his 40s, it's about consolidation of assets and accumulating a bit more, consolidating his reputation too. And there's a really favorable later period for him. And it looks like it responds to the fact that water combines with metal. And I won't bore you all with the actual chart. It's actually not that easy to understand. There's lots of thinking involved. I'm just telling you my interpretation here. And so essentially, yes. So to summarize, he will be making more money, but he has to be very disciplined, or else he could overwork or blow all his money away. I know he had to sell his album, right? Something about selling his album to Sony Music, or I don't know. For those of you who are Bieber fans, please do correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, his lesson is this. His chart states this. He has lots of fire, lots of young, strong fire, forest fire almost, out of control fire. But his success will come from learning how to control that fire into disciplined, accumulated, long-lasting wealth. He has vision, he has lots of energy, he has enthusiasm, he obviously took action to make himself a success, but he does need a lot of discipline in order to keep the wealth that resulted from his success. And so essentially he has a lot of drive, a lot of leadership, and of course lots of productivity. But he does have some impatience, as I mentioned before. He has some. He's not too. He's not too patient or too controlled or too disciplined. So what he needs to learn is how to be more patient and how to slow down and smell the roses, so to speak, and not be too overconfident as well. But definitely, his chart indicates he's not someone who would want to settle down in the suburbs with 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and live a quiet life as a farmer, for example. Well, actually, you know what I mean, right? He's not someone who is a quiet kind of person, right? He's very extroverted, right? He needs to be out there. So, yes, essentially, in his 30s, he must be more disciplined about wealth, or else he might lose it all. All right, that's all I have to say about Mr. Bieber here. And here's my disclaimer. You can read it here, or I'll read it aloud for you. All Taoist divination systems only determine the likelihood and probability of someone's future if they do not actively try to change it. Our fates are not set in stone and can very well be changed. The divination systems merely predict what is likely to happen, but likelihood does not mean it will 100% happen. So it's just a very sophisticated divination system, this 八字 and all that. I can even use another one, depending on what kind of questions you guys have. But I'll do 八字四柱 first, which is 8 characters and 4 pillars divination system. All it does is it predicts likelihood if you continue along your current trajectory without wanting to change it. But that's what any prediction system is, or divination system, right? It's a prediction of what your life is like using the mathematics of probability and statistics and likelihood. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. This is your master GongSun, and this is the very first inaugural episode of the Taoist Destiny Analysis of Celebrity series. Now, please choose who I should cover next. Who's next? Please choose. And I will not close comments for this series. I will open it up to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. As usual, keep living in alignment with the Tao.